Everybody, and welcome to another Shoujo Podcast bonus episode hosted by me, the guy who hosts during the bonus episodes, Joe of the Shoujo Podcast. This week, we watched a movie, and we are joined by Sarah, per usual, and a special guest.
Introing my friend and coworker. My coworker. I was going to say coconut. No one's going to know what that means. My coworker and friend, JP, here to join us to talk about Avatar Aang. You're our second ever guest on the podcast. Welcome.
Goodness, I feel extremely honored. And I think everyone should know what a coconut is. So I think that's a very apt introduction for me as a fellow coconut rather than coworker.
I feel like I'm pretty good about when I'm like wearing my work hat. I'm like, I'm Coconut Sarah, but it's not on the podcast. I mentioned the game we work on, but I don't really talk about my coconut necessarily. But yeah, I know you were watching the movie, and I was like, hey, we do bonus episodes. Let's do a bonus episode. Why don't you join? Let me put you on the spot. Big listener of the Shoujo Podcast?
I am a moderate listener of the Shoujo Podcast. I learned what a shoujo was from the Shoujo Podcast. Yes, Sarah is all things teaching me anime. So that's right. Much appreciated.
Speaking of anime, this particular movie it's very much even more anime inspired, I would say, than the original series. But since that's what we mainly cover on the podcast, give us a little intro about your story with anime, JP. Did you grow up with it? What got you into it? What's your favorite? All that good stuff.
Yeah, I'm more of a newbie, 6 years into anime. Aware of it as a kid, but I didn't really dabble in it much. During COVID, my brother got me into it, and the first ever anime I watched was Attack on Titan. So I'm very new age anime. That's probably my favorite one. Even still, having seen it all the way through, music's great. Got me introduced to, used to like most people be like, oh, anime is just cartoons, it's kiddish. And Attack on Titan is anything but that. All the voice acting, the intense music. It's like, holy mackerel. But yeah, I know my other choices in anime are questionable to you, Sarah.
I'm judgy. We all know it. It's fine. But Joe's not going to judge you. So, and our listeners have no voice here, so they won't either.
They can't say anything. They can just yell into the air in front of them.
That is perfect. Well, all right. I'll give like 8 that I've watched that I've got kind of listed out here. But Sword Art Online, Dr. Stone is something I've really enjoyed recently. Solo Leveling, super don't judge me here, but Food Wars. Got a great story beyond some of the very questionable scenes that it has.
People like Food Wars. You don't have to apologize for Food Wars.
Sorry, I've mocked him relentlessly.
Haikyuu is awesome volleyball anime, and Blue Lock. I like the sports animes. Spy X Family, really enjoy that. And a couple of The Forgotten Neverland, and then the really questionable ones where the names are comically long. Is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon?
Oh, I watched that. Yeah.
I just really like those, RPG elements.
It's great how it's not really even about that at all.
No, I know. That's what kills me. I'm like, can we not change it to something else? And that's like same thing with Food Wars. I want people to watch it, but I'm also like, make sure you're watching the first episode alone and don't think poorly of me when you're watching it. But it's a really good story. But yeah, that's kind of I really like Blue Eye Samurai. I know that was a Netflix one. And yeah, not really Crunchyroll, but that was really good. Anyway, that's kind of what I've been into so far.
Anime can exist outside of Crunchyroll. It's true. But that is the era that I guess you came into watching anime, where everything's just on Crunchyroll that you're consuming. Let's see. Well, I know you've watched some good ones like Fruits Basket because I showed you that. And
I did not call that one out, did I?
But Haikyuu.
A lot of those are like pretty popular shows.
They're very, yes. So we've got a shonen watcher, but I feel like you've got the heart of a shoujo lover. You just like love the feelings and all that. And, so not that this is that we're talking about today is shoujo, but honorary shoujo member here today. Welcome,
Yeah, we'll get
JP.
you. One day, Sarah will let us watch the one with a mech in it, and maybe you'll like that. But Sarah won't let us because their noses are weird.
They look like Pinocchio anime. It's like
We're being gate kept by noses.
ridiculous.
That's perfect. I haven't
I'll
watched the mech
relent.
anyway, so I'll double up. And
I feel like you'd be
shoujo
real
plus
into
mech.
it.
And yeah, apologies for not mentioning Fruits Basket because yes,
No, it's
that is
fine.
good.
Well, based off what you said, I feel like the mech you're gonna like is Darling in the Franxx. You don't understand the shade I'm throwing, but it's been
Yeah, you're
Nice.
really.
It's like you're
That's really
insulting me in
offensive.
another
Friend.
language.
on the podcast, I'm always like, oh, I don't have any friends. This is why I'm a terrible person.
Yeah. I'm always
but
telling my
yeah.
coworkers that. I'm like, you seem kind of like you're shamelessly horny. I don't know. Maybe that's cool.
Oh man, no, I don't know. It's because JP's cool. He can take it. I'm not.
Because I won't get in trouble.
That's right.
I can say
He's
stuff
not my
like
boss.
this.
That's right. Oh man,
This is the closest to getting like somebody swearing or cursing me out in a different language. I'm like, I can't be offended when I don't know the reference.
No, it's just it is a bit of a sight to behold mecha anime. Feast for the eyes. Anyways,
A lot of fan
I
service.
did watch it, so I can't judge. I did watch
I've
it.
never
in
even
its
seen it all the way through. I hear
entirety.
it's like crazy at the end.
Yes, but yeah, okay. Anime. We normally talk. I
So,
don't know, Joe.
well,
maybe you'll jump into.
Hold on. We gotta get him on the thing that's relevant to this. What's your story with Avatar?
Right.
Yes,
that.
that's a fair point. That I don't know if that would be my first Avatar, but I definitely watched that prior to 2020. So I watched that growing up, and I was a big fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yeah, I don't know, honestly, the year it came out when I was watching it, but yeah, I think I've probably watched the whole thing through 5 times now over many years. I was actually rewatching it every time the new live action comes out. I'm rewatching it and comparing to it, but yeah, no, big Avatar fan. And don't like that James Cameron made a movie that confuses people.
It's very
between the two.
annoying. Yes.
So
Oh.
what? I guess Sarah. What about you?
Yes, watched it when it was on Nickelodeon first airing. Just really liked it, and I remember. I feel like when I first watched the Toph intro episode, like it's like one of the first times I really remember watching something and feeling stuff watching it, being like, wow, this is so different and cool, or like I haven't been exposed to any representation of blindness and stuff in media before. Yeah, just kind of watched it the whole time. Did watch Legend of Korra. Yeah, it's just really good. It's something, I have a significantly younger brother who it's hard to get him hooked on anything. My sister tried to get him to watch Naruto, and he's like, ew, this is like old looking and gross. But he really connected with Avatar. And so that's like one of the few things from our childhood that he, has like been into. So it's been a nice connecting point with the youngster. Yeah, I was very excited for this movie. We'll talk about maybe the theatrical release, lack thereof, and that was kind of disappointing, but I've always been a fan of it. How about you, Joe?
Yeah, so I watched it while it aired. I've watched it a couple times since then. I most recently watched it like a few months ago because I was showing my girlfriend it for the first time. So I've seen the original show several times. I've probably seen Korra maybe once or twice.
Mm-hmm.
And there are parts of Korra I really like and parts of it that I think are not very good.
Yeah.
So a little bit mixed on that. I've also read I've read like the original series sequel comics up to a certain point, and that's kind of the amount of Avatar that I have consumed. I guess I watched the M. Night Shyamalan movie, and then I watched the first season of the Netflix live action version, which is one of the worst TV shows I've ever seen. So
yeah, so I've watched the first season and the movie as well. And yeah, that was just Aang and Sokka just drives me nuts. Like just freaking throw me off a cliff. hearing them mispronounce their names. I guess it was also, remember when Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network and all that had games on their websites? There's like this actually pretty fun Avatar game when it was airing, where you could pick like between being a water firebender and like, just like a little web browser game. But that was like a lot of fun too. And then I think they were gonna have like a where you're your own avatar game. I think that got scrapped recently. That's annoying. Oh, and I guess I'm looking forward to, is it Seven Havens is the next one that's coming out in October?
This is the other thing coming out from, I think, this studio, right?
Yeah, Avatar.
That's the
Avatar
deal.
Studios. Yeah.
I guess it's safe to say that the turning Avatar into a franchise has been kind of fraught, it seems like. Not as straightforward as you might think it should be to turn something into a franchise this day and age.
Yeah, weird kind of analogy, but I feel like some other IPs out there like Harry Potter, there's so much opportunity for stories to tell in that universe, and I feel a bit let down of where they've chosen to put their time in with that. And I watched Legend of Korra. I'm not sure I got through the whole thing. I did enjoy it, but I think I was just different timeline, obviously, after Aang.
Doesn't have the same chemistry of the cast. I feel like it's just the cast isn't as, I don't know, or maybe it's just more endearing when they're younger than when they're teenagers and everybody's just dating everyone. Yes.
Like, it also had a weird airing. I mean, this movie also had like a weird release things happen, but Korra also had weird release things happen where like it was on TV for a while and then it switched to fully online, and it was bizarre.
Yeah. We were just talking, I guess yesterday when we recorded, talking about similarly with Star Wars being like, oh, there's so much possibility and it's just been disappointment, because like what could be, but you guys aren't doing anything with it.
Well, I feel like we have this conversation a lot kind of at the beginning of episodes of like, is any franchise actually doing well right now? Because it kind of seems like everything is in like a weird, nobody can figure out how to make anything good.
It's a great question.
It's either you know how to make stuff and it's not good, or you can't get anything out for some reason and you just don't make anything.
Yeah, or the things they make is just really just a remaster of the old thing, just repackaged.
Oh. Yeah, like me being a sucker for Halo.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And then getting you suckered into it too. Yeah, that's my bad.
Like Halo feels like it's toast. For some reason they can't make another James Bond movie. I don't know what's going on there. It seems really easy.
I heard the game was decent. Is that true? I haven't played it.
People like that game, I think.
Yeah. Jurassic Park toast.
Jurassic Park's dead.
Yeah.
Even though, I mean, like, it's not dead because it made a bunch. That movie made a bunch of money. Like, the thing is that they keep making more stuff like that, but it is in my heart dead. Just like how Marvel is in my heart, MCU is in my heart dead.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's not.
Bleach, right? People like 1,000-Year Blood
Bleach
War.
is so dead. Bleach is the most dead to me ever. Because I read it and I got to the end and I'm like, all right, well, I guess we did that. And then they're like, what if we release this in an animated form in the slowest release schedule possible? You thought the final seasons of Attack on Titan took a long time to come out. Guess what? We're doing that for every show ever now for some reason.
That's true.
Even shows that clearly have a worse denouement than Attack on Titan. So it's like, why are you... It's like everybody saw Game of Thrones and is like, oh, we have to do that, and just ignored the fact that those were like the worst things in Game of Thrones ever.
I was going to say, I feel like Game of Thrones did an okay job with A Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
Well, that's very small.
Like that.
People like that. I haven't seen it.
Kind of not super tied to anything else, so it could stand on its own as like a whole thing. And
I think this is the problem, though, right? Like, everybody always wants to follow it up with something just as big as the first thing, but that feels like a mistake every time.
Like House of the Dragon, I know people are pretty torn on that. You either really love it or you're really against it. It feels like in the third season now, it's finally coming into its own, but there was so much in the first season and second season of setup and focused on the same area and the same people, whereas Game of Thrones had you really jumping around places with a lot of different people.
Yeah.
But now you're kind of getting the payoff. But yeah, it was kind of stuck in the same people for too long, it felt like.
I think just make sure people are super hot, and that's a reason to watch stuff. Tying it into what we're talking about today, Team Avatar looking good. Strong, compelling reason to watch it. Yeah, I was just most excited to see, like, oh, everybody's hot now, like, woohoo. But
I did quickly pick that up of Aang getting healed by Katara in the beginning, and he's got this awesome 6-pack. I'm like, looking good, Aang. You got it, man.
I know, I was watching with my 2 brothers and my sister, and we were just like, wow, but then bigger and badder muscles come around. So it's like, you've been working on that, and then immediately somebody with better muscles appears. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Anything else we want to hit before we jump into the setup of Avatar Aang, Joe?
I don't think so. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
No, excited to hear everyone's thoughts and feelings on this.
All right.
All
how do we want to do this? I have a summary because I forced myself to write a summary for this. So I can go through that, or we can talk about who's doing what. We can go through all the voice actors.
I would like to do, I think, voice actors first. And maybe if you have anything interested about the production of it, and then talk about, or does it make more sense to talk about the movie first and then let's just determine on air? Let's not plan.
That's what we're doing. That's what, I mean, you can cut this out. If you really wanted to edit this, you could cut this out.
I'll mark it just in case.
Yeah, so
normally I'm like, the voice actors, whatever. But I feel
I think we have stuff to say about the voice. I'll just say everybody up front so we have everything on the board when we talk about it, right?
Okay.
All right, so I'm looking at the IMDb page. This is where I'm getting like the directors. This has 3 directors, which also, like, I don't know, sometimes directors include producers. It's really weird for like animated movies on who's doing what because it's like various different things. But the thing I've kind of noticed is that, so the 3 people that are credited on IMDb for this are Steve Ahn, William Mata, and Laura Montgomery. Lauren Montgomery has done a ton of shit. Producer on like all of the Voltron show, worked on like a ton of the like DC animated movies that come out like all the time.
The good stuff from DC.
Yeah, so like a huge number of like superhero stuff. But also like really long career. Justice League.
Didn't she also work on Korra and Avatar? Like a little bit. I feel like she's involved in the first 2 projects at some point. Not as like director,
maybe.
That's what I had read.
Yeah. Okay, storyboard artist on that. Yeah. So there's a lot of, they bring a lot of people that are like from Korra, and there's also seem to be a lot of people from Voltron in this as well, which is interesting. The kind of person who doesn't fit that is William Mata, who's worked a lot more on movies, it seems like worked on like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, the Lego Movie 2, that kind of stuff. It's a little bit hard for me to know exactly what like animation directors necessarily do and like what the division of work is, but like, these are people that have all done a lot of different stuff before, and these are kind of some names I kind of recognize. The writers, this is kind of interesting.
Okay.
So 3 credited writers again. I seems like there's more. There's like a whole list of writers, but the 2 people that are credited with the screenplay are Tim Heidecker and Christopher Yost. So Tim Heidecker worked on original Avatar, right? Wrote the series for that, or was a writer on that, a writer on Voltron, write a lot of like cartoon stuff, Fast and Furious Spy Racers, don't know what that is. Staff writer on Legend of Korra, so, person on that. Christopher Yost, known for writing the Cowboy Bebop live action show.
Oh, well received show, that one.
Yeah, okay. Also wrote some other stuff. Seems like worked on some of the Star Wars animated stuff, like wrote an episode of The Bad Batch, wrote some of Star Wars Maul. I don't even know what that is. I guess they made that. Rebels, wrote a couple of Rebels episodes, things like that. A lot of superhero TV shows, it seems like. But yeah, oof, the Cowboy Bebop one. And
I meant to see that Darth Maul one that came out recently, but I didn't see it yet.
Yeah. I have
Voltron, are any of these Paramount related, right? Paramount's like the overlord now. So is it like, was Voltron a Paramount?
Voltron was a Netflix.
Okay, interesting. I feel like I watched a few episodes of that and I did like it, right? And there's a tie with one of the voice actors to Voltron. Is that true?
Yeah. What's his face? Steven Yeun is he is he Keith?
Yeah.
Trying to remember when I watched Voltron way forever ago when it was popular. Steven Yeun, he plays Zuko in this. Voice acting veteran. Most recently, he's Mark, the main guy in Invincible.
Yep.
Does a lot of live action, but still does a lot of like voice work too. He was in Tuca and Birdie. He was in Voltron. He was in Troll Hunters. So he's, kind of bouncing back and forth because he's still doing quite a bit of live action stuff also. Like he was in Mikey 17. It's the most recent thing I think I saw him.
Yeah. I knew him from The Walking Dead.
Glenn,
yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Beloved character there. I wonder if, because I don't know if you played the Telltale games Walking Dead, but I think his character appears in that at one point. I'm like, I wonder if you voiced his character in that. If that was like one of the first voice acting things he would have done.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well balanced. Knows what he's doing in voice acting guy.
Apparently he was also in The Legend of Korra. I saw he was played, I don't know how big a character, someone named Juan.
Oh,
W-A-N.
it's
yeah.
There's yes, I did see
like a
this.
couple
It's
episodes
basically the
flashback type
origin of
thing.
the Avatar. Yeah. Like the first Avatar kind of guy. Yeah.
That's good. It seems like, and for the whole cast of this movie, so they recast the voice actors for this movie. I don't think anybody is the same.
Nope. Except for
maybe they're
Appa
playing
and
bit parts.
Momo, I think.
Oh yeah. You
same
can't
guy,
replace Bradley D. Baker because he's just too good. So he gets to stay. But everybody else got replaced. That's kind of controversial. I don't think that matters very much. It seems like they tried really hard to match the like demographic makeup of their characters to the actual voice actors, which I think broadly is a pretty good thing. But you end up with some kind of interesting matches. And I think we see that kind of most pronounced with Aang, who's played by Eric Nam, who is, as far as I can see, this is like his first voice acting role, maybe?
JP and I know him from his appearance on The Traitors, the USA latest season of that. But yes, he seems to be maybe a writer for K-pop or something. I think
he is a guy. He's like a host guy, is what I'm seeing. He is a well-known like TV personality. He was in like K-pop group. I think he was in Cloud9. But he seems to be a host. Like he's a guy who goes on TV and hosts things.
Yeah.
It seems like. And he's like a really well-known guy. He's like a 30 under 30 guy in Asia. Like, you know what I mean? He's one of those guys.
He did make a very good song after The Traitors called How the Fire Started. I thought he was a musician. I thought that's what they touted him as. So that's interesting. Oh, okay. He's both. Like you said,
he's both. Like all of those credits on IMDb is like known for the soundtrack to Hotel Transylvania 3. And I'm like, okay.
Okay, so maybe
he's a
it
music
has
guy.
had ties to animation, just not as a voice actor up to this point.
All I can see is that he's on an episode of The Loud House playing a bit role, but that's it.
Yeah, I feel like his voice is more suited to play a younger character than the Aang that we have in the movie. Like, he has a very youthful sounding voice. It's not bad, but
we could talk about the voice.
Yeah,
we could have the voice performances end up being.
Yes, I guess the rest of the crew, though.
Rest of the crew, new character Taga is voiced by Dave Bautista. I don't think he's done a lot of voice acting either necessarily. I couldn't see like a lot of other voice roles. I mean, he does a lot of shit because he's like in Dune and Guardians of the Galaxy and et cetera, et cetera. But I didn't see a lot of like voice acting stuff specifically.
Yeah.
Katara is played by Jessica Madden, who also does not appear to do very much voice acting. A lot of like TV show roles is like kind of her thing. Shows I haven't seen: Dark Winds, Burden of Truth. So TV actor or TV actress mostly, it seems like.
Well, big honor to be in Avatar.
Okay. I don't know if I would say it's a big honor.
What? It's a cool franchise.
To be in like the it's not, but this is the thing, it's not a cool franchise. It's a cool show, and then there's like not, and then there's like another show that's also pretty cool, and then that's kind of it. And like everything that's come out since then, since Korra, has been like extremely mid/bad.
Yeah. Okay, well, an opportunity.
Yeah. Voice of Sokka is Ramon Zaragoza. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Doesn't seem to do a lot of voice acting either. The biggest, it does TV stuff. Oh no, he was on Spirit Rangers for a couple episodes, but appears on the TV show Ghosts, which I know is popular for like 80 episodes or something.
Okay.
So that's a good
the
gig
comedy
to get.
one, right? Yeah. Uh-huh.
I think so. So that's that. Zuko we already touched on. And then the voice of Toph is Dione Kwan. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right either. But she is a veteran voice actress. So she's legally blind. But you probably know her as the voice of Kimmy Finster in Rugrats because she's like a child voice actor.
Oh, she's Chucky's sister, right?
Chucky's sister, yeah. So she's in that, all grown up. She played Yasmin in the Bratz franchise. And then it seemed like she retired in like 2018 or so. But then came out of retirement like 2 years ago and did like a voice acting thing for some gotcha game. And then also did this role. So,
interesting lineup.
Interesting.
Sure.
Some game called Epic 7.
Never heard of it.
Nope.
Well, because you would assume these are, I mean, yeah. I don't know what the casting looked like for it, but I would assume like it'd be very popular roles that people would want to play. But so I don't know how open they were. And
well,
but I appreciate the attempt to cast, correctly.
That's what they're doing, right? Because like Jessica Madden is like an indigenous actress, you know what I mean? Like that kind of lines up.
Which I guess they at least tried to do more in the new live action as well. So at least there's a concerted effort.
Yeah. Because I mean, originally all of the, it's like they're voicing these characters that are like clearly different ethnicities. I mean, they're like fantasy ethnicities, but that are like inspired by other things, and like everyone's voiced by like white kids and whoever else. I mean, I guess not all of them were, but they're doing a better, more concerted effort for it. So I think that's good. That being said, I don't think there's a lot of these voice performances that just don't work for me. I think that's much more of a giving them voice direction than them not being able to do it. I think they probably could do it. It just didn't turn out that way.
Yeah. I feel like the guy who does Sokka was like pretty good sounding, like it's similar to what Sokka sounded like in the original series. And then obviously Zuko sounded good and Toph sounded pretty good too. It's just that we didn't, which will be a big bone to pick, is that we didn't get very much.
We didn't get very much of them. It probably is not great that the characters with the most lines are also the characters are played by the actors with the least amount of voice acting under their belt.
Yeah.
Probably not what I would have done.
Mm-hmm. Yes. One day Joe will have an anime of his creation. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
We're saying, why can't you just write them? And you always have
I'll do everything
ideas.
perfect with my unlimited budget and unlimited access to talent and no timeline. That's the secret to success, everybody. Yes. Well,
I guess there's the runtime was like 82 minutes or something. It was like quite
like 100 minutes, like an hour and 30, hour 40.
I feel like this is a long awaited thing. I don't know. It's hard to.
It's not. Is it? Is it a long awaited thing?
People love this franchise. People love these particular set of characters. We got like teases of it in Korra where we saw them kind of in like, adult, but I mean, this is this cast or these characters in the original series, that was the magic that was successful for Avatar, and so they want to revisit it because that's that seemed to work. Let's do it again. Hopefully it works this time like it did then. I
feel like this is the problem, actually.
I was fanboying. I mean, the Avatar ends with, Zuko's becoming the firelord and he's friends with Aang, who's officially the Avatar. And they walk out in front of all the nations being together. And I'm like, I'm one of those people that when they do open endings, kind of, I'm like, I want to see. And they're like, well, that's the point of your imagination. Figure out how it's going to go from there. But be able to pick up, like, what was the path they went down after that 100-year war? And I know Legend of Korra kind of touches on that, and Republic City, but we'll get into it. But I think some of the messages there, and I was pretty happy with the voice actors, except for Toph. I felt like it was more writing. Like I had some issues with. I was like, oh, missed opportunity, like y'all said.
She had like one line she kept. I'm like, there's a lot more to Toph than like, I'm the greatest earthbender ever. I'm like, okay, over this bit already.
We got one Twinkle Toes, but she called Aang Avatar early on. Again, I'm jumping ahead, but that was like, there's just a couple of things that rubbed me the wrong way. I'm like, he's Aang. Like, you think you should be informal with him always. But anyway, yeah, I looked past probably some glaring issues just because I was like, I did want to see these people grown up. I feel like a lot of
people want to see it. So I feel like I feel like we didn't get enough of the stuff that audience would want. Like, I feel like we didn't really get to see what they were all doing. Like the briefest of glimpse. And then we get like, I don't know, the beginning with the like, here's the setup of the world. And I'm like, okay, this is people who watch it already. We already know what's going on. You don't need to give me the whole, I ran away, thing. But so I feel like they could have
do some retreading.
Yeah, with like giving us, if that's what you're catering to is the returning fans, give us more of what we want and not like surface level. I feel like
I feel like this is the problem with making something like this. Is like, who do you make it for, right? Because it's like, do you just jump in assuming everybody knows what happens, or do you have to feel like you need to do some table setting to get like to onboard new people? What do you think is going on here? And I feel like they try to split the difference, and I feel like splitting the difference is always really hard and never really works that well.
Has anyone watched the new X-Men animated series and watched?
No.
So I would be interested to see how that was handled, because I haven't watched either one, but I feel like that's like one of the rare occasions where it's like, well, that's like kind of directly following what happened with like a huge space and time between when the first aired and the second, but I'd be interested to see how they approach doing that, where it's like same cast, direct continuation of what happened. I know it's been 20 years or whatever since the original, but that also has the luxury of being episodic and not like a whole, short movie that you get stuff.
Yeah.
Into.
I feel like they also probably have the advantage of that, where like on the streaming site, you have the original series, and then right next to it, you have the remake thing. Whereas like the original series of Avatar, I think is still licensed by Netflix, where this is coming out on Paramount. So you can't even see it if you're like wanting to go back.
I think from what I had looked into, they licensed it out to Netflix, and maybe that like brought in a fresh wave of new fans of Avatar and Korra.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's currently on Paramount.
Oh, is it? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. But
okay.
Yeah.
Well, should we get into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Give
us guidance, Joe.
Avatar Aang: The Last Airbender. We open on a flashback of Aang racing a bunch of other airbender monks through the skies of the Southern Air Temple when he's like a kid. And Monk Gyatso like sabotages him, and it's cute. Gyatso explains that he needs to know restraint because he has a big responsibility. And then we get a vision of the Southern Air Temple being consumed in fire because this is a nightmare that Aang is inhabiting of the past. He wakes up as a 20-something adult because he's on a journey to go look for artifacts at the ruins of the Southern Air Temple and then put them back where they belong, because preserving his culture is taking that form.
Yeah, watching this, I was like, you think we're just going to see everybody's dead bodies again like we did in this series? Like, hey, Monk Gyatso, what's up? I'm back. No, that didn't happen.
I mean, at this part, the thing that was sticking out most to me was just the different art style, being this like 2.5D painted. And it's apparently a higher quality, form of animation. And I did enjoy it, but I was kind of calibrating to it at the beginning because that's not what we've seen in the past.
It was, I gotta say, this was like gorgeous environment. Like, it looked really good. I thought that all the back. Joe has a more discerning eye than I, but I was like, wow, this is pretty. This looks really good. Yeah.
Yeah. They do the like you paint 2D stuff on 3D models, which I think they mostly captured pretty well. There's a couple of times when I feel like it looks a little weird, mostly with Aang's bald head, because like when he should be turning his head, it looks like nothing's happening. So it just looks like his facial features are moving around his face. But I think there's just kind of no way of avoiding that. Like, I think the character model is actually moving, but because there just aren't like lighting or something, it looks a little weird. But yeah, for the most part, it looked really good. There's a lot of really good like set piece visuals. I mean, this feels a lot to me like a spectacle movie.
Yeah.
Where the thing you're supposed to really take away from it and the thing you're supposed to remember are like the set piece events.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently like the variable frame rate, I don't know if they did that everywhere, like when they're flying on the gliders in that beginning of the dream, like the cape flying at a different kind of frame rate. I think it was like the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, not as intense as that, different variable frame rate, but interesting again. Felt higher quality, just different than what I was used to in this universe.
Yeah, it definitely looks very different. Inside the air temple, he starts replacing various artifacts, including a statue with the name Sonam on it. And he's like, I wonder who this is. While he's in there, he gets ambushed by a group of 4 non-benders who are here to loot for something. And Aang fights them and discovers that they're after the Sonam statue. I have these characters' names because you basically don't get them. I don't know how somebody got them, but they did. I guess in the credits.
Yeah.
These are the names I'm going to be referring to them by. So Kalik is the one with the rope dart who looks like they're 12. Jie is the archer woman who looks like one of those archers from the prison.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yuyan archer is what they call it.
Mm-hmm.
Yuta is the guy with the pole arm, and Hong is the other guy.
The other guy.
Who I don't remember what he does because he's not really fighting in this scene.
No. I feel like only the 2 ladies are the ones that get any notable time in the screen.
I had to look at the subtitles for the Kalik or Kalik because I was like, all right, that's our one redemption character. And I was like, yeah, you don't really get much of it.
First, I feel like we don't get a lot of freckles on characters in the series. So I was like, oh, freckles are cute. She was cute. Clearly she was going to be somebody, but
it does feel like this character was supposed to be something more here.
Yes. Yeah. Just no time for none of that.
We don't have time for that.
We don't have enough time for the people we actually want to see, let alone anyone else.
No. We learned that these non-benders are called the Denied and that they are angry living in a world without having magical powers like benders have.
Which did... That to me, I really liked. I didn't love the name of the Denied, but in Avatar you've got Sokka, who's non-bender, and you've got Suki.
Suki.
I'm forgetting
Suki.
What's the name of their group?
The Kyoshi Warriors.
Kyoshi Warriors, and you have Jet. So you have these fighters that are non-benders throughout Avatar: The Last Airbender, and they you get acknowledgement of there being that gap. But it did feel like, wow, yeah, this would make sense that you would have people who don't have bending powers feeling neglected.
Well,
so
this
I was like,
is
okay.
Super a subject touched on in Korra. Like the whole antagonist of the first season, I think, is like leading, it's kind of a crock of shit when they dropped
the ball on it entirely. But this is basically the motivation of the bad guys in that first season. That's a little bit more spelled out. So it's weird to see it here.
Well, we don't super see that sentiment in the first one because we do have so many like viable people that aren't benders playing on the same, it feels like equal balance of non-benders and benders in the original series. So it doesn't feel like it's touched on that much, but I don't know, I guess if it's like makes sense that, Republic City's being built still, everyone's coming together. So maybe we're just feeling that more, that there's a big gap between benders and non-benders. So I feel like it could make sense as far as like, leading into what we know is going to happen with Korra later.
I don't think it makes very much sense. And I'll talk about it more. I think the main problem for me with this is that in Korra it makes sense because these are people that live in Republic City, which is an integrated city, meaning everybody of the different nationalities live together. And so you have things like gangs made of multiple types of benders. So it makes sense to like have an identity around not having bending powers when you live in a place where it does, as opposed to like how it's presented in the original series where everybody's identity is tied from which nation they're from, right? Here they don't have a Republic City. Like there's no reason why you would, like, these people would not have things in common with each other other than the fact that they're all benders. Like I don't really understand where the origin of this identity of being non-bender comes from.
Republic City is underway. It's established.
Underway.
It does exist. We don't know how long it's been set up, and we don't know that these people were located there, because we don't know anything about these particular individuals. But
Right. But like even later on, they're going to like comment about the war. And I'm like, but the war is so categorized by nation states and not by having magical powers and not having magical powers that like I just don't see how that can be the thing you take away from that. Like, how can that be the driving motivation? But this is also the Denied are not really like a group, like an ideological group. It's very odd. I'll get to it later when we get to more of that part. But the inclusion of the Denied here, it feels like they exist so they can be there for the final boss battle and not for much other reason.
Yeah.
Anyway, the battle rages and they end up destroying the tower that they're in while Aang goes out of his way to save one of them specifically. Colic. He saves Colic. She's like, wow, I can't believe the Avatar would save people. And I'm like, bro, that's like his whole deal. I don't know how you don't know that's his whole deal.
And then she abandons him too.
Yeah. So disrespectful. I was mad. Like, come on, people, leave the Southern Air Temple alone.
Yep. Then we get our title card. So we get, the whole thing. Water, earth, fire, air, and we get their transition from their kid selves to their adult versions doing it, so you can see how hot everybody is. We get a recap on the first series with a real emphasis on all of the nations, plus Sokka, a non-bender, so, we can't be like, hey, the Denied don't actually have a point here. And we also see early Republic City, which features pretty prominently in Korra, so tie in there. We cut back to the story with Katara giving a speech about Republic City, a city for all people. We get lots of cameos from various characters from the original series in case. Yep.
Yes. We do get a glimpse of Kyoshi warriors at some point.
That's at the end.
No, there's like, it's not Suki, but when they're showing glimpses of
really?
City,
Okay.
there is like 3. I don't think it's them. It seems like they're just
there's a shot of them at the end.
Kyoshi warriors, yeah.
When like everything is good now. Okay.
I thought I saw them in there. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm confused. I only watched it once.
It doesn't matter. They don't do anything.
I was watching it multiple times. Yes. Tragic.
Aang comes back and he and Katara kiss because they're a couple. But Aang got injured in his fight, so she goes and heals him.
I was loving the kiss. I
know.
I think we
adults.
You get one kiss at the end of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was all about that kiss.
Yeah. Ugh. Should have been.
Katara has heard of the Denied, while Aang has not. Were you gonna say something?
No, I was just saying it should have been Zuko. No, it's fine. It's fine.
That's so true, but we're not gonna get into that. This movie also goes out of its way to say that that's not happening. Anyway, Katara's heard of the Denied for some reason, but Aang hasn't. I don't know how he hasn't heard of this. Katara explains that these are bad guys and she's worried about Aang. Meanwhile, Aang has anxiety about dying as the last airbender.
That would be a lot of pressure.
I mean, he's not, though. Well, because there's going to be another Avatar.
That's true.
But culturally, yes.
Yeah, I know. He's got to get on it with Katara. Get to it, people.
Yep.
I think there's a thing, too, is the beginning of a Legend of Korra. You know where the future is going with Aang. So it's like, I think it's an interesting point. Especially like he says, he's Republic City. We're all here now, except for my people. Yeah, I think knowing where, again, if you've watched the beginning of Legend of Korra, you're like, oh, okay, I know things will be okay for him.
Yeah.
Which maybe kind of takes away from this right now. But yeah.
Katara gives a speech about how due to Aang's efforts, everybody is living together in harmony in Republic City, but Aang continues or counters that the air nomads aren't here. She counters that he is an airbender, but also the Avatar, so he needs to be happy for everyone. We're really just making Katara do lots of speeches in this movie.
Yeah. I mean, she's always been like, had to have the role of being the voice of reason, I guess. The like rain on the parade character kind of, but
it's too much.
Which I felt like, I don't know, I felt it. She was kind of annoyingly the mother of the group, which they touch on in Avatar: The Last Airbender, especially with Toph and her kind of having some friction. But I don't know. I felt like it felt good that she had an older voice behind her and maybe a different tone and pacing. So like, yeah, I'm now listening more. And I'm like, you are right, Katara. Like I was.
Well, it seems
like she came of age, whereas she had to be a mother and adult earlier.
Yeah.
Because of the tragedy with their parents. Whereas now it's like, okay, this fits your age now. At least that's how I took it.
Yeah, it seems like we don't really get this as, I mean, any conflict between the two of them is because of a third party in this movie, but it feels like there should be some brewing animosity just because he's off doing this stuff and it seems like it's all fallen to her to have to run this whole thing.
Right, which is
so
weird.
I could see there being some frustration.
Is she a politician? Because she's giving a speech at the beginning, which makes it seem like she's like a really important person here. But we never really get like what she actually does. Work. Or what? Yeah, is he supposed to be doing this? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, we don't get a lot of. I feel like, I don't know.
That's fair. I never asked that question. What is she doing? What is her role?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I sympathize with her because it's like I have to be like the person helping set up Republic City while my boyfriend goes off and almost dies, like putting relics back in their place for some reason.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lose-lose situation. It's like the past, but also the present. We're supposed to be building this together. Where are you, Aang? God forbid when she gets, has kids, and it's like a lot to fall on her. If they're supposed to be doing it together.
I will say though, I'm glad they didn't touch on that though and put that anxiety and stress into the movie. It's less realistic. I think you're both right. They should have touched on it. But from like she's just his rock and she's got his back and she's the voice of reason and he's, still a bit of a child. There is that age gap.
Yeah, well, I mean, this brings up...
Nope, go ahead, Joe. I'm sure you have much more interesting things to say than me. Go.
Well, I'm just like, I feel like this is here to introduce the idea that like Aang has multiple identities here, where he's like, there's like tension between him being an airbender and him being the Avatar at the moment. Yeah. And that kind of like is what the movie ends up kind of being about.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I guess there's just no time to dwell on it when
it's
the
kind of
world is
heavy-handed
on fire in the original series. So it's like now he has the time to, he's done a lot. He's just trying to have one thing for him.
It's,
I guess,
interesting, but it's, I don't know. It's not couched that way though. It's couched in a weird way. We'll talk about it more as we get further along and how I feel like it doesn't quite make as much sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, Aang decides to figure out who Sonam is by asking the previous avatars, and he starts with Roku, but Roku doesn't know who it is, so he starts to work his way back through the avatar line. Aang works his way back to a weird avatar named Xian, who's played by what's his face, Kei-Kwan, the guy in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Xian reveals that Sonin was the avatar during the golden age of airbenders, who had an extremely powerful staff, but no other avatar can communicate with her for some reason. Xian gives Aang a tip to go to Mount Baihu, where Sonin was last seen. Aang leaves on his own, but sends a letter to the gang to assemble while he tries to beat the Denied to Mount Baihu, because it's a race against time, because for some reason the Denied would know to go here. I don't know.
Because they stole the map.
Because they stole the map, right. Because the map points to the mountain.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Who's funding their operation? Because they have like a steamship, right? That's going to be so exciting. These are the questions no one's asking, but I want to know.
They think, Aang thinks the map points to Mount Baihu. That's actually not where it points.
Oh, you're right. Yep.
What do we think about Avatar Xian?
You're crushing it with these pronunciations. Thank God it's you and not me.
Well done.
Learning Mandarin. Very basic. I'm still probably saying it wrong. Sonim, lost avatar, hidden avatar. She's got an extremely powerful magic staff.
Yes, we got like mystery person.
Yeah, she's an airbender.
We'll talk about character design later.
That's cool. Let's see. We get scenes of Zuko, Sokka, and Toph, and what they've all been up to, and we get scenes with all of them getting the letter from Aang.
Okay. Why do we have to have a snot-nosed brat? I hate it so much. Don't do that to me.
The Sokka one?
Sokka's little, yes. Blah.
Okay, his was the best one, though.
So much. I know, but
He's that so
right your nose, child. I hate it. Oh.
Yeah, Sokka gives like a little thing. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes.
No, the Zuko one was my favorite. They're that Ronnie Chang, if I'm saying that right, comedian. Dude. Like, Flameo Hot Man, I was ruling the Fire Nation. I was just like, I hope that Chamberlain's not boring you anymore. Yeah,
I know.
I think it was in the preview, but
I know Ronnie Chang as like the dub voice for Scissor 7, so he just does that voice, and I'm like, wow, dude. Unfortunately, because I talked with other friend of the show, Jenny about this.
Jenny.
Unfortunately, that part is very funny when he sends a letter, but that just doesn't feel like something this Aang would say, because he doesn't say anything else in the movie that's even remotely with that tone.
Fun. Yeah.
That's very true. That's very true. You don't get that. And it's probably why I liked it so much, because they're like, oh, that's what I would imagine he'd still be childlike in an adult age, which there was somebody in Avatar that kind of gave that vibe. I don't know if it was earlier, his monk mentor Gyatso. It wasn't him.
Yes.
Oh, Boomy.
Yeah.
From the Earth Kingdom. I was like, is that, Aang as an older Avatar having brought peace to the world? But again, there's a conflict here. So anyway, but that's a really good point. He doesn't match that.
See, I mean, obviously it's important stuff to him happening, but like it's a lot more severe than like the Aang that obviously he was younger, but like, I don't know, we missed the levity of Kid Aang.
He balanced it in the old, I think, decent. Like he was stressed that he had to learn all this stuff, all this weight on him, but then he'd go, penguin sledding or doing these things and having these goofy kid moments and being lighthearted. And it would have been nice to have some of that probably.
Yeah. There is a distinct lack of whimsy in this movie.
Yeah, that's
that we only get through like cameo voice actor characters. Like Sean gets that a little bit. We get one later on, but that seems to be where most of the comedy is coming from, and not from the actual characters. But I feel like there are opportunities. Okay, I'm gonna get to my first thing where I'm like, I just don't think what's his face as Aang. Eric Nam as Aang has comedy voice chops for this.
Yeah.
Play you a little scene. This is a scene back at the beginning, when he's fighting the Denied the first time in the temple, where he is. There's like a point when they're like fighting in the thing. I'm gonna see if I can find it, and he's gonna deliver the line because during the attack they like break one of the like big hanging mobile things. And he delivers the line that he's like, oh, that's like 1,000 years old or something. And you can tell that this is, I can hear this in the original. Like if I find the clip, I can try to find a matching clip that has like the same type of energy, but it is not delivered with like the same level of comedy. So here it is coming up.
Here we go.
Wait! That's 1,000 years old.
Yeah, no.
It just doesn't have it.
No.
It just isn't there.
It's not, yeah.
I can see it. I can see it in the writing room, like where it's supposed to be.
Yes. Well, I feel like the animation is also very serious. So we don't there's like the Sokka, like special animated sequence, but I feel like nobody's given like crazy eyes or anything when delivering anything fun. So I feel like,
I think the only time I saw that with Sokka, maybe I missed it another time, but when he's kind of hanging over Aang with Taga and kind of giving him up to date, and he kind of slides off of Aang's back in kind of this kind of cartoonish way and comical way. But yeah, I didn't see much of the
physical comedy that we get to see in the series. Yeah.
But I do think you bring up a really good point of the first time seeing this, I'm really amazed by the visuals. The audio's hidden pretty good. And so the lines, the second watch through and probably third, you start to be like, oh, yeah, that doesn't really hit the way I would want that to hit. Just listening to that right there, I'm like, oh, didn't love that.
But you can tell what they're going for. I don't know. It's just like one of those things where like doesn't quite come together.
No, we're relying on our imagination too much to imagine a better version.
All right, back in the story, we cut to Mount Baihu, which is a mega tall icy mountain, and we see Aang scaling it, but it's a very dangerous climb. He gets to the top, and we see a person frozen in ice, not dissimilar to how he was frozen in ice long ago. He busts them out to reveal that it is not Avatar Sonnen, like maybe we thought it might be, even though that doesn't logically make sense, but instead it is some guy. However, breaking him out has
hot guy.
Some hot guy, but we don't quite see all of him yet. So, breaking him out has destabilized the mountain, and Aang has to try to keep this guy alive while dodging rocks in a pretty good action sequence about falling. Things are looking bad when suddenly the guy wakes up and does some airbending, which buys them enough time for Appa and the rest of the gang to swoop in and save them. They set up camp while the new guy is passed out, and they have a discussion about how hot he is before he wakes up and freaks out after seeing an earthbender. And what is maybe the best comedy bit with the whole group in the movie?
I concur.
Unfortunately, also played in the trailers.
Yes. Well, I mean, we didn't really touch on this, but the movie gets leaked months in advance of it being officially released. And I feel like I saw a lot of speculation, like, is this confirmation that Zuko is bisexual? Because he's like commenting that a man could be attractive. I'm like, okay, people, calm down. I think everyone could just be like, yep, attractive. But this is a scene I saw circulating a lot before official release.
The only thing I saw before the release was the Ronnie Chang delivering of Aang's message. I didn't know that part leaked. I didn't know. I didn't see a trailer prior to this, so that's kind of a shame they shared it all.
These are both unfortunate things to see before it, because I feel like it sets up different expectations for what you get for the rest of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
True.
Yeah.
Aang informs this guy that he is in the future and that Avatar Sonam is dead. And also, he and Aang are the last airbenders. And also, they don't know where Sonam's staff is, which we learn can harness the power of the spirit world. We get a backstory about the ancient airbender society in the Golden Age with Sonam in charge. Avatar Sonam was able to use her staff to give airbending to non-benders using the staff.
Yes. I feel like a lot of the stuff that happens in this, it's like, we eventually get to this in Korra. Like, everything that happens in this is like, eventually I feel like there's a version of it in Korra.
It works very differently in a way that surprised me at the end of this movie. But yes, a lot of stuff of this just happens in season 3 of Korra. Like, they basically is kind of like about this type of thing.
Yep.
So again, a little odd seeing this here. Not odd, but I was like, oh, okay. Aang decides that they need to find the staff so they can bring back airbending, and everybody is on board, but the Denied are one step ahead of them because they have the map, which wasn't pointing to Mount Baihu. It was pointing to where the staff is.
I think this is the first time I felt, and this may have been intentional, as we'll touch on later, but that nobody, and you say it well, is they're all on board. Like, you don't have Katara raising concerns about the fact that you're taking people. Do they even have a choice? Or, they probably have a choice. You're assuming people who are not benders want to be benders, which is even buying into the fact that benders is a better way to live, maybe. And there's there's things I think they touch on later, but in that moment, I don't want to say I felt disgusted, but I'm like, yeah, come on, Aang. But it makes sense. He's in his mind about wanting to bring back airbenders. But I was like, nobody's going to say something here.
Well, it's supposed to be the gang, and it's just the Aang, Aang and new bestie. And no one, everyone's just tagging along. And
well, we do get a scene specifically with Zuko being like, oh, we can correct the biggest atrocity my nation. Everybody seems to be on board with the idea, not necessarily the execution, but at least the idea. Everybody's on board.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Taga's just I don't know, ready to go. I just woke up in this different era. He's
so on board.
Yeah.
He's ready to go.
He's so hot.
The new airbender introduces himself as Taga and says that there's an island in the middle of the ocean that they need to go to. And Taga is shocked to see a blimp, which I thought was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I can hit another voice acting thing that did not work because I have the timestamp. You can splice this in. More work for you to do, Sarah. This is the part where he calls Katara a water child in a way that should be offensive, and her reaction does not sound as offended as I would have liked.
There's only one place it could be.
Oh, look at him.
We'll need to travel across the endless ocean.
On the other side of the world? But there's nothing out there.
There's an island. The journey will not be easy, but we can make it.
Then let's get going.
The skies are no place for a water child.
Water child?
Oh God, yeah, that's
you
bad.
Just woke up after that.
Can we talk about the fact that it's in the middle of the ocean and it's no place for a water child?
Goofy ass
I'm only now putting that together.
Okay. She did do a face there.
She didn't make a face there, but the face
that
did
was
not
a good
match.
face.
It was a good
the
face.
voice not. Yeah.
But again, the voice just not quite doing it.
No, freaking. Ugh.
Anyway, they set off. I'm not really sure what that microaggression from Taga was about, but don't worry about it.
Well, he's also like, as soon as he sees Toph, he's like, Earthbender like wants to attack. So it's like
That makes sense,
tension
though.
with other elements. Yes, from what
We do learn
get.
that makes sense. I'm not sure what the water tribe prejudice is, but okay.
It just seems he's from a time where it's like the golden age of airbending. So it seems like he's just very into airbending and forget everybody else.
There is a point where like we get a specific phrase dropped in that I'm like, oh, okay, what's going on here? But I'll get to that. Let's see. Taga explains a bunch of stuff about ancient air nomad culture, like known air currents and such. And Aang is impressed with how much this guy knows about airbending because Aang only knows about stuff since he was 10 and then didn't have anything else to learn from.
Which that was another thing that felt weird, but maybe tied into it is he's like mentioning how much he can learn from him, which in Avatar: The Last Airbender, there's a lot of that of him learning. But that's because it's his role. It's his duty to learn all the different bendings. And so it makes sense. But at this point, I'm like, yes, you're always good to learn more things, but I would have liked to see a more monk-like and Avatar-like mindset about it. There's so much we can share with each other, right? As opposed to, it feels like, what can he get out of this relationship? And I was like, again, and maybe that was the point in these very two kind of like, I don't like Aang's mindset even before things kind of get tense, but.
Yeah, I feel like it kind of makes sense just because it's like this is a type of knowledge that was inaccessible before, right? It's like finding like an ancient book that you thought was destroyed and it isn't. It's like, oh, the Library of Alexandria is right here and it's this guy. Like,
that's very fair. Yeah,
get that feeling,
that
from
excitement,
especially like it seems like he's been. I mean, it's kind of implied when he's putting artifacts back in their place. He's trying to like reconstruct like the culture he wasn't able to learn, and that kind of dovetails.
Yeah, I think it's very fair, that emotion he has, and I think it's very more honest and real representation of how he would feel. And so I think I'm putting him on a pedestal of going, oh, you're the Avatar and you're old, and like you should be flawless, which is probably not right.
I guess we can see it as like he had to do a lot of heavy stuff as a kid, so now that that's over, maybe he's doesn't have to grow up so fast. The Fire Nation isn't destroying everything. Yeah, I mean, people grow their whole lives, and he didn't, like since then he's not been under strict like monastery mindset stuff. So it's like what you learn as a kid is how you're supposed to act, isn't not being reinforced. So
I think the thing that's weird about this, and this is because I read some of the comics, is that in the comics, he runs into people that are studying air nomads, right? And he thinks that's interesting because they're like, oh, you're like learning all this stuff. And then it turns out that they're like appropriating some of it, right? Because they're like, basically one of the characters has given themselves like an arrow tattoo. And he's like, oh, but you have to, that's like a thing you earn. It's not like a thing you could just give yourself. It's not like some accessory you can put on, that kind of thing. And he gets like upset about that. But then it's like, those are people he ends up hanging out with, right? As like other people that are interested in air nomad culture that he can go and teach them stuff and also like learn with them the stuff he didn't get. The way it's presented here is that he is the only person interested in air nomads at all, which I think is a little odd because that just doesn't seem to like line up with what we learn about like in the episode The Library, where's that guy who's like studying that like library in the desert. Like there are no academics that are interested in air nomads at all. Like It seems a little weird that it's like really positioning him as the only person who cares about the air nomads at all in the world.
I think it's interesting that I think you're right. The fact that I didn't pick up on that at this point in the movie, and I'd maybe even say near the end of the movie, kind of puts me in the same mindset of being negligent and the focus more on airbending over culture and that ignorance of, oh yeah, only people who are airbenders would care about this, which is the ignorance, which not like running ahead of things, but I think you're absolutely right that it's wild to think that nobody else would care about this and there'd be nobody for him to connect with. But as a viewer, I wasn't even thinking about that either. I'm like, oh yeah, there's no airbenders, therefore there's no one looking at the culture.
Let's see. Taga is bummed that Appa is the last air bison and asks Aang for his backstory. Then Taga shows Aang an airbending technique where you like tether yourself to another person, you like throw them around in the air. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Taga tells Aang his backstory, which is that he and Sonim got involved in an earthbender attack and he got trapped in ice somehow.
That makes sense. Ice, earthbending, same thing.
You know, it happens. Aang really fills us in being like, oh, Sonim must have like protected you with the ice or something. Taga's like, yeah, man, sure. Taga is shocked that Aang can hang out with Zuko when he's the Fire Lord. He's like, didn't the Fire Nation wipe everybody out? And he's like, and Taga's like, yeah, airbenders always suffer at the hand of other airbenders, but Aang is mostly focused on bringing airbenders back so that everyone can live together peacefully.
One thing before the kind of next section that changes the tone that we didn't talk about yet is Taga's tattoos, his markings being different than that of Aang's.
Yeah,
Obviously, that you've learned at this point, as you mentioned, that he was granted the power of bending from Sonam, and it looks similar to the staff as you kind of get the preview of it. But I was like, I thought that was a really cool, differing arrow head tattoo.
Well, it seems more
Yeah.
realistic. Probably what like a stylized tattoo would look like rather than just like a, very standard pointy arrow. So I like, it felt more artistic.
Well, it's also like, I feel like it's also like a change through time thing. Like if you look at when people try to show me the origins of like Chinese characters, they're like, originally it was this, and then it was this really complicated thing, and then we simplified it down to this thing. And I'm like, all right. So it really reminded me of that.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like his
Or like
incredibly
logos.
intricate. Yeah.
Company logos that get so basic these days.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
You know, cooler. But that's, it just made me think of that. Yeah, good point.
I will say I do like because he has like a buzz. Like obviously we saw in the original series that Aang can grow hair, but like I liked having, because in all the flashbacks, even the poor gals are like, bald forehead to show. So it was nice to see like the option of like, more of a like soft buzz and not just totally bald. And then he had like, ponytail and all that. So yeah, he just had a very good character design.
Yeah, it looks good.
Mm-hmm.
The Denied show up with 3 airships and attack their 1 airship through inexplicable amounts of money they have. Even though Kalik,
it's way bigger than the
it's
Fire
way
Lords.
bigger. It looks junkier, but it's big.
Mm-hmm.
Kalik doesn't want to because she thinks Aang is nice. Taga and Aang defend off the attack, and Taga seems like he's really eager to just like crush the Denied ship and kill everybody, so Aang has to stop him. The fight is interrupted though when they all enter the immortal storm, which is basically Giant's Deep from Outer Wilds. Has anybody played Outer Wilds?
Nope.
There's like this cool planet that's like green and full of tornadoes, and you just like fly through it, and it's like a nightmare. That's what they basically are doing. It's awesome. Taga and Aang go out ahead to use airbending to clear the tornadoes, leaving the rest of the gang to deal with the fact that the storm is ripping the airship apart. Aang sees this and wants to help his friends more, but Taga insists that he has to trust them, and this pays off as the gang narrowly save the ship from crashing in a pretty cool sequence.
There's a lot of long action sequences.
Yep.
I kind of feel like I would have rather had more like character banter and shorter action sequences, but I don't know how everyone else feels.
Yep.
Some of them are very long.
I didn't feel that necessarily, but I think if on a second and third watch, I mean, I have to watch the second time, but maybe now looking at what I got, yes, I did. I think I don't want to replace one for the other. I just probably would want a longer movie. At least that's what I think, because I want more talking, but I did like the action sequences, and especially
but I
with
feel
the
like
art
the
style.
original series, even with like the drill on Bossing Say, like, the team separates and Aang's, fending off Azula, and then like, the rest of them are inside. I just feel like it was so much, there's just a better balance of like, let's have fun dialogue or, bickering as we do stuff.
Yeah, I broadly agree. I think this has real Marvel movie problem. Which is like big spectacle up to even we're fighting in front of a big portal at the end. So, yeah.
That's very fair. Yes, it was much more that, and I would much rather have the other.
Yeah, so they save the ship. There's a moment of calm where Katara gets mad at Aang for almost getting everybody killed and suggesting that they turn back. And Aang refuses, saying that the staff is important and that nobody else understands.
I will say for that whole sequence, of, like you said, Taga saying, trust in your friends. They won't make it if we don't clear a path. And you get to see everyone using their peak skills and, maturity. I was excited to see what was possible there. Now, was it well showcased or the best situation? You got to see, Zuko lighting the fire. You got Toph doing metal bending, closing up the airship. You got Katara jumping out, clearing the wave like Moses to buy him some extra time. And then you got Sokka doing the steering the ship with his feet. And I did kind of like that. And like only Aang and Taga could clear the tornadoes. And then to have Katara come back and be mad at him was like, oh, you're right. That was really reckless. But at the same time, I was ignorantly like, yeah, they are rock stars. Like they can take care of themselves and they do need you to do this thing. Like, I feel like that was an interesting kind of moment of, sometimes you got to trust in each other and
I
get
feel
your
like
thing
it would
done.
almost make more sense if it was Aang being like, don't worry about them. They got this, from like all the time that they spent,
As opposed to being afraid and doubting. Yeah.
This whole sequence was bizarre to me. This and the next part that happened do not make any sense to me, like in a logistics, the plot of the story kind of way. Because like what's suggested here is that, I mean, really the thing that happens, which is everybody has a problem with, is that Taga doesn't tell anybody there's a thing called the immortal storm that they're going to have to go through. And like, I guess his plan was that the airship would blow up, so it would just be him and Aang. But if he wanted it to just be him and Aang, he just needed to say, hey, the immortal storm's coming up. The blimp can't make it. I need to go ahead with Aang because we're both airbenders, and they probably would have just let him go. So I literally don't know why any of this stuff happens. Because he isn't even lying when he's like, Taga or Katara's like, we need to go back, and Taga's like, we're almost there. And he's right. They literally go through one more cloud and they're there.
Yeah.
And even when he's like, oh, you should trust in your friends, he is correct there. Because like Aang does just need to trust in his friends, and his friends come through, and then they're mad that they were all like that endangered. But if they just got a little warning, I don't think they would have been as mad. So I don't understand what's going on I don't understand what Taga's plan is here.
That makes a good point of likely the intention was for the airship to go down, but there would have been a lot easier ways for him to lose the group.
It's weird. And Katara getting mad, I feel okay. This is the most like, the voice acting just isn't there.
What were you thinking?
I was clearing the tornadoes to make a path.
The ship almost crashed, Aang. We could have died. And what if you got yourself killed? You're the Avatar. This is too risky. We need to turn back now.
No, we're almost there. We just need to get to the eye of the storm.
Aang, no. This is too dangerous.
The staff is out there. The Denied are after it.
Do you really believe that they could make it through the storm?
We're nearly there. That staff can bring back my people.
I understand how much you want that,
You
but...
don't understand. None of you do.
I found hers to be the most
well, she has the most work to do, right? Because she has to do the most of like the emotional lifting of the show, of the movie. And this does not sound like yelling at your lover for almost endangering you and everybody else because they're like solely focused on one thing. Like there should have some weight to that. I should be able to feel that a little bit. And what I get here is it feels like a line read. I don't know. And like even Aang's response where he's like, oh, none of you understand. It kind of feels like it comes out like he's just being defensive for kind of no reason. Like, because that's not even the criticism. The criticism isn't that this is unimportant. It's that we almost all died, which is just objectively true.
Yeah, I think we just are having to build belief that Aang is willing to go a little bit further.
And this is truly the problem with the whole movie is that what is Aang's being tempted with here? It's like he wants to bring back airbending. He wants to embrace the airbender side of his identity and that kind of stuff. But like, what are we tempting him with is the question. He's going to go too far. Like, what does that mean? What does it mean to go too far? Like, at no point does he ever like have any wavering faith in his friends. At no point does it seem like he's ever going to do anything bad. I mean, like, the whole crux of the movie doesn't work for me. And I'm kind of skipping to the end. But part of it is because, like, this is what the whole third season is about. This is like the season, the series finale is about this specific thing of like, is Aang going to stick to his principles as a person, or is like, you know, his own personal principles and like the ones that he learned for his culture and things like that? Or is he going to do his Avatar duty and kill the Firelord? And we all know what he picks. So we're just kind of doing it again.
Yeah. But it's pretty.
There's no
and
tension at all.
action.
There's never any thought in my mind that Aang would be willing to sacrifice anybody to get the staff, to get the magic staff.
Yes.
Baffling choice to make this.
It's just Joe laying down.
Sorry,
facts,
I
and
got
I'm
really
just
animated
gotta
there.
be
A little
like,
too early
damn,
too, because
you're
we're not
right,
even getting to the
bro.
point.
I know we got to book it, people. Oh, there's so much to say.
All right. Keep going. Aang and Togga carve a path through the rest of the storm, and they're able to get through to a set of islands made of lion turtle bones, which is pretty cool.
It made me think of Inuyasha's dad's grave with like his big old skeleton. Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
Togga says that Sonam's staff is here and that Aang should commune with her to find it, and Togga is tasked to help the gang repair the airship, which he doesn't want to do, while Aang goes off alone. Togga immediately ditches them and goes off alone, so Katara goes to find him, and she has a confrontation with him about how he's too obsessed with the staff, and how maybe he tried to kill the Denied earlier. Remember when that happened? She gives a speech about how cool Aang is and how he's brought peace to the world, but Togga doesn't think that that's lasting peace, which is impossible with the way things are. Togga declares that Katara is Aang's weakness and starts to attack her, and then he destroys the airship and starts a fight with the whole team in
A very
like
disappointing fight.
a very obvious heel turn that also doesn't seem very motivated to me.
Mm-hmm.
The gang puts up a good fight, but Togga is really cool, and also none of them really know how to fight an airbender, and he ends up mopping the floor with all of them.
Okay, that's a good point on the fighting airbender. But I'm like, I feel like this is not satisfying display of their abilities whatsoever to me.
They're doing like team attacks. I thought this was fine.
Oh, it's fine. I guess maybe I'm thinking of the later battle, but it's just...
I was gonna say I liked seeing how Sokka fought with him and like how Toph threw him with rocks, and then Katara put ice on his boomerang. The one thing that bothered me is that, you know, in Avatar: The Last Airbender, we have a whole episode of Sokka learning to become a master swordsman. I don't know master, but he's got his meteorite sword. And so I would have liked his main weapon instead of being the boomerang to be a sword, if not the old sword, a new sword, and see how he maybe progressed in that form of combat. So that's the one thing that bothered me.
Yeah.
This actually, I don't know, like people don't like this fight because it's like, oh, they get wiped too easily, but it works for me because like, in the timeline of the thing, right? They haven't been doing fights like this for like 10 years probably.
Yeah.
And Togga was probably doing these fights yesterday to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I guess he's like more experienced and older than them too. And
yeah, and he's been doing this for a while. So like it makes sense.
And the airbender he's doing is different than what Aang has been doing that they've seen.
Right. I mean, that's always kind of like an unsaid subtle thing that I always like in the series is that like because there are no airbenders, nobody really knows how to deal with them very well.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that would also be true here. Especially when he uses like this air gun technique to like shoot them all, which is a little goofy.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Aang finds a cool ancient rotunda ruin and uses it to find Sonam's staff. Togga shows up and says that the two of them can bring back the airbenders. And Aang's like, yeah, us and my friends, right? And Togga's like, I don't know about that. We can't create the air empire with them. And I'm like, air empire? Hold on. What does that mean to be an empire for air nomads? What does that mean? The answer is that they weren't nomads at the time. Aang realizes that Togga has betrayed him and goes into the Avatar state, but unfortunately, Togga has the staff, and Togga declares that Aang is a traitor to his people, just like Sonam was, and then he shoots Aang, steals Appa, and gets away, saying that he will build a new air empire alone.
Oh, I was like, oh, not the Appa thing again. We can't have Appa getting stolen again. That was a whole thing.
He gets stolen again.
Ugh, poor Appa. Yeah, okay, bad guy. Who saw it coming?
What does it mean? What does an air empire mean?
It sounds like you're wanting to conquer if you're an empire.
That means you run an imperium, which basically means you have puppet states that you rule over through like dictatorial powers. Which is interesting because like this and what Sonam herself says that the airbenders do just can't be true if it's an air empire. But we'll get to that. I'll wait till we get to that.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Well, we're about to do that, actually. Togga meets up with the Denied and becomes their new leader by offering them airbending abilities, which he just gives them what they want.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I understand why the Denied wants to be here. All the people who want bending powers, get the powers. Cool. Aang wakes up in a weird place and he realizes that everything is his fault, just like when he wasn't there for his people back in the day. He is joined by Avatar Sonam. Sonam explains that Togga is a bad guy, but he used to be cool. Then we get some backstory about how airbenders were peacekeepers, but there weren't very many of them. And the earthbenders at the time started a campaign of conquest, so Sonam learned how to make people earthbenders to act as peacekeepers, but this plan didn't work, and most of the airbenders got wiped out, which made Togga enraged, so he tried to steal the staff and went super beast mode with spirit energy. But Sonam was able to narrowly beat him and locked the staff away. Everything Sonam here is weird and suspect to me.
Okay, Sonam looks cool, though.
Sonam looks cool.
She looks awesome. Like, the new character designs are good for this. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So Sonam's like, airbenders are the peacekeepers. But also, Togga's like, yeah, I'm from the Air Empire. So when Sonam says peacekeepers, is she meaning like, oh, we like go and we like help negotiations and get people to de-escalate? Or is she like, oh, we're peacekeepers, you know, like the UN, where I keep the peace with like my knife on your neck? Like, what is she talking about here?
Well, it seems like maybe Empire and all of that is his agenda, and like what's maybe his next step of what she was doing or scheming, but not what she had in mind. I think we're not supposed to super read into her being in on all the evil.
We're supposed to think she's cool, right? But the thing is, she also is like, I locked the staff away because I wanted an avatar to show up and make more airbenders eventually. But like, why did you disappear from the avatar line then? How come nobody can contact you if you wanted them to do this thing?
That's true.
I feel like this sequence here, Aang was just brutally wounded, right? And during the transition, the thing you're about to get into, he's like I think they kind of call it out of like, he's in so much shame that he was able to meet Sonam with his sorrow. Like, that's how their connection was. They're saying, therefore, Sonam died with so much sorrow because of what they left the world to state in. And like, somebody else has to pick up the pieces here. But I guess the other thing in terms of Sonam versus Togga, and the difference that at least I chose to see between them was like, Sonam looked at the air kingdom or the air nomads as kind of like in Star Wars, the Force of, you got Anakin, and what does the Force, the balance mean? Does it mean that it's actually all the Jedi, or does it mean, no, one side just shouldn't have all the power? And so it kind of fluctuates between the Sith and the Jedi and back and forth. And therefore the nomads having that ability to create more nomads just to bring balance, but ultimately they'll be knocked down and come back. And so that wasn't about conquering, but being able to, in a world of imbalance, try to bring more balance. Again, like it's a pendulum swinging in my mind between power, and that just so happens to be the airbenders have that ability to,
I guess, if it's also like
numbers.
the monk lifestyle, if that's like supposedly been the whole shtick the whole time airbenders have been a thing, then I guess it's more of the lifestyle part that would make them appropriate to be peacekeepers, rather than like airbending itself, maybe. I don't know, Joe. You're the man with the answers. Tell us.
Well, I don't know. I mean, this is what I'm saying.
Joe.
Like, it seems weird because I think Sonam thinks of them as peacekeepers, right? I don't think these earthbenders would agree with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if Chinese history has lots of monks that get involved with wars and stuff like that. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not unusual, but that's also probably not how they think about themselves. So these are kind of the only perspectives we get. And I'm not really confident that either one of them is entirely true.
Yeah. Just because you're the Avatar doesn't mean you're in the right. I guess we haven't had like an evil Avatar story, though, have we? That would be good.
That would be good.
They should do that.
We kind of do like the negative version in Korra a little bit, but it's not as good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Sonam tells Aang that he needs to get the staff back to the temple to seal it. And Aang is dragged back to life by Katara using magic healing water, because they all died and got healed through magic healing water.
Yeah, I question that, but I did really like that sequence after he talked with Sonam and before Katara brings him back. The falling down, like when he speaks with the other avatars, and him being like, no, like basically I'm not ready, that anybody dying is probably going through. I don't know. I just felt that of like, oh, this is what it's like for an avatar to die, to go to their seat within the spiral and basically just be somebody available for the next avatar to commune with. And like, that's it. Game over. And just to know that's what your existence is going to become. It's like, oh, this is terrifying.
Yep. So he gets brought back to life. The gang is still trapped on the island since their airship is destroyed and Appa is gone. I'm sorry, I kept going. Should I have? You think that's very funny,
No,
Sarah?
I thought it was funny that he's like, yeah, let me just say this like,
No, I think that's true. I like that sequence also. No, I think it's a good sequence. It reminded me a little of
I love it. Stay on track.
Because we just watched all that Utena stuff of like the drowning thing. I'm like, yeah, getting drowned. Good. But no, it's a good sequence. There's a lot of like really nice like individual sequences in this movie. I think that's definitely one of them.
Yeah. Especially when they're nonverbal. Am I right?
Yeah.
Nobody's talking.
You see it. Because we know that Aang's been having like existential dread the whole time about it, and he's like afraid of dying. So good. So they're trapped on the island because Appa's gone and the airstrip's destroyed. So Aang decides to open a portal to the spirit world by summoning the ocean spirit.
Yay, more Easter eggs. I guess.
More guys, you remember. They go to the spirit world, which is out of balance, and everybody gets age swapped. Sokka and Aang are their age in the original series. Toph is a baby, and Zuko and Katara are old. This was fun. We're having some whimsy.
I don't like this spirit critter we're going to encounter soon.
Yeah, we see Taga up in the air using the staff to create a rift between the spirit world and Republic City. Because that's right, we're fighting over a portal, baby. A spirit hawk shows up, voiced by Takai Waititi, to do some comedy bits in a very that guy's way of doing comedy bits. And Momo convinces the spirit to take him up to Taga. This was, I don't love this section because I think it's a little exhausting, but it was nice to have some levity and remember that this is supposed to be kind of a goofy show. So I ultimately ended up liking this part, even though it's a little much.
I think it's fair. I think, I'm probably on the side of, I didn't care for it, but I think you're absolutely right that there really is no other opportunity that they took for the levity in the movie, and it definitely did hit on that point. And I will say, in Avatar: The Last Airbender, it wasn't like every levity moment hit. Some of them hit more and some just didn't for me, but it was nice that was always part of the tone through it. So I am glad they had that in there for sure. I
just felt like it's more so the design of this character felt a little strange, because I feel like the spirit world has always kind of seemed, or at least in Avatar when we would see it, it seemed like kind of eerie and solemn and not so colorful and crazy-eyed. So I was like, I don't know, because I don't know, I'm used to the let's get the face eater monster thing. That's what spirit world is in my mind for Avatar, but I guess we get more pretty sparkly stuff in Korra.
Yeah. They make it to the platform and get age restored. Things are looking bad.
Okay, sorry. I have to say, this is the part where it's like, oh, are you guys a couple? I'm like, God, they should be.
Yes. Yep. Because
Zuko
both Katara and Zuko are old, and it's like, oh, it's just like the parents. And Aang's like, no. I know.
Okay.
I did say I did love the Aang and Katara kiss in the beginning of the movie, but I am with y'all. Zuko and Katara, that felt like a better couple. I felt so conflicted at the end of Avatar. I'm like, yeah, that feels like a better couple than Aang, but it's obviously Aang's love interest. And
I agree. Like I in the original series, I'm like, dang, like in retrospect, yeah, they probably would have worked better together. But like, I want this movie to sell me on the Katara and Aang romance, at least. Please put in the effort to sell me on it, even though you couldn't really sell me it in the show. So, that's good.
Yeah. I guess the most I saw was people being like, oh, we all doubted, but then we see hot new Aang and we're like, okay, Katara, we get it now. But look at Zuko. I mean, whatever. He's so gorgeous. Okay, continue.
Things are looking bad as Sonen's temple is descending from the spirit world to crush Republic City. And Taga says he's going to build a new air empire on the rubble. because he's just full villain mode now. Aang attacks Taga and is doing a better job fighting him this time. However, Taga has given the denied airbending powers, so now they gotta fight all of them.
And they know how to use it immediately.
Yeah.
So convenient.
Don't worry about it.
That was big issue for me.
Mhm.
That's the other big thing. It's like you have everybody, just because you have bending doesn't mean you know how to use it. Like Katara is learning to use it throughout Avatar: The Last
Yeah.
Airbender, and you're like, yeah, these people just immediately. I get giving the power, but like, so that was not great.
Aang solos Taga while the rest of the gang fight the members of the Denied. The battle rages. I have a note that we get a prolonged Cabbage Man bit that was too long. Some things happen during this fight. Like Katara kind of convinces Kalik to have a change of heart, I guess.
I read into it that Pollock was like part of the Deny because she probably had some like tragic backstory where she was just a poor schmuck with no bending, and I'm assuming
what she said,
Firebender
like-
came and destroyed everything, and then she's seeing what they're doing is causing the same kind of chaos that probably happened to her. Blah, so she's no better than the Benders. That blah, blah. I just assumed it was something along those lines, but a lot of reading into it. That, and I mean, it seems like obvious, but also it's like we're having to come up with our own motivations for her.
I think, it feels like a big miss. I think you guys are right about the Marvel fight sequences, because this definitely feels like one of those. And that character and their backstory, it feels like, now that I think about a very missed opportunity of, okay, the 100-Year War is over. Fire, Nation is, we're all living in Republic City. There's got to be people who have had their families killed from the Fire Nation that are like, I don't care how much you're trying. Yeah, exactly. Like we could have had a little bit for her and her backstory and flashes of just horrible things that the Fire Nation did. And she'd be like, because you get that with Taga, with the Earth Kingdom destroying, killing all of his friends during these fights. Like, okay, so you get it. You get where he's coming from. But you don't get that for the Denied. And that seems more accessible to us having seen the 100-Year War.
Mm-hmm. But Katara, that wonderful voice acting she's got.
Okay. All right. We don't got to be
Charming
about
assault. Okay.
Zuko fights Hong, who delivers a pretty good critique of Zuko being the firelord, because he's like, oh, big talk for someone sitting on a throne built on a century of war. Good line. Like, damn, get his ass. It's such a problem for me that like the Denied and the Equalists in season 1 of Korra are like supposed to be kind of your like communist analog, right? Because it's supposed to be like people understanding that the things that are causing problems in the world are not the individual nations, right? Like it's the people who are in charge of those individual nations that have something in common with each other, and that's like a class solidarity thing, right? Which in Avatar world is like they all have bending powers. That isn't totally true, because like the Earth King doesn't in the original Avatar. He was just some guy. But like broadly, I can see how you would like make that connection to the one-to-one thing. The problem here is that like that's not how the Denied engages with any of the other characters from that perspective. You know what I mean? And it's like kind of how Korra does it a little bit better than this, but it still does it pretty bad because it kind of just drops that as a thing that people care about. But this is like where it like lines like this make me feel like that was supposed to be the actual read you're supposed to have of the Denied, but like it's just not supported anywhere.
Yeah. Totally.
And like, because that would deflate Kalik's change of heart, because Kalik has a change of heart because she's like, oh, the stuff we're doing is so bad. But like that's because her commitment to the cause is based on bad things that have happened to her, and not on like an understanding of like how the world is organized. Anyway, Toph's doing pretty good in her fight. She's got cool armor
she's got a sick ass get up. Yeah, she looks cool.
She's doing a good job until she's launched in the air, and then it's kind of a problem. Things are looking bad for the Benders on the team when Sokka shows up and saves them with a flying bike that drops water balloons, which lets Katara bend more water, and they win.
I just kept being like, girl, just do it. Do the blood bending. It's cool. Do it.
It's like, people say this, and I'm like, what's going on, man? Like, she has like a whole character thing about not doing it.
It's cool.
I do think it's. I wasn't thinking for her to use it, but I do think it's just like you've got Toph doing metal bending beyond the earth bending, and yeah, Katara could do the blood bending. But
Toph doesn't shoot lightning.
Let's not forget you are earthbender, because I feel like she like only does metal bending. I'm like, don't forget the earth exists too. We get it. You can metal bend, but
in this scene, I legit thought Sokka was going to drop a bunch of bombs. I'm like, dude, Sokka invented drone strikes. He invented air bombs, carpet bombing. That did not happen.
It did feel like a miss for me with Sokka. I was like, obviously he helped, but it just feels like we're going, he's just...
It's like season 1 Sokka versus season 3, where he's like a military mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wanted that, and I wanted a counter to the denied of other people without bending abilities, showing what they do on the side of good.
Yeah.
Again, you got kind of the Kyoshi warriors with Sokka with a sword and this awesome fight, and just like, I got a bike, and they focused on the invention side of Sokka, which is cool, and I do like that engineering side.
Yeah, the comparison point just isn't there. Like, you can't be like, oh, well, Sokka also contributes because he like turns the tide in this one moment of this one fight. Meanwhile, other people are like taking on 30 guys at once. It's just like not comparable. And I agree with you. Or it's like hard for me to be like, oh, the denied are wrong because regular people, also have power. And then this is like our evidence of that. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I guess that's not even an argument the movie makes. The movie just doesn't engage with what the denied are saying at all.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Aang's winning his fight. He tries to commiserate with Taga, but Taga says that unlike Aang, he witnessed firsthand his people die, while Aang only heard about it after the fact, which is extremely true. And a pretty good thing to say, I think. Taga shoves the staff into the temple ruin, which unleashes unlimited power from the spirit world into him and becomes a mega jacked dark energy guy. So Aang starts getting worked by Ultra Instinct Taga. Taga fires an air bullet at Aang, but Aang catches it and redirects it like back at him. And then he's able to take him by surprise and steal the staff. And then Aang shoves the staff back in the ruins, which turns him into a Mega Jack spirit powered guy. But unlike Taga, who's a villainous violet color, Aang is heroic blue. Just in case you want to know who's good and who's bad.
Although on the Shoujo podcast, we're team purple.
Oh,
ourselves. We love purple.
That's because we love villains. At least I do.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking when Aang redirected that shot from Taga that it was the lightning redirection type movement, but then I realized, oh no, it's supposed to be like a flashback or,
what he taught
connecting.
him.
Yeah, what he taught him of throwing each other. Like, I start to see the VFX that's, again, that he then throws Taga and then grabs the staff back. I was like, okay, I get that. But for some reason, I was really itching, again, for those those edge case master level bending things, which the lightning redirects from
Zuko
water bending.
To do lightning, but we didn't get that.
Zuko can't do lightning. That's like a character trait of his, that he can't do it.
Is that true?
Yeah.
He just couldn't do it ever? Surely by now he's gotten it down.
I don't know. He's still kind of a messed up guy. I don't think he has a girlfriend. There's probably a reason for that.
Where's May? Carry on.
Aang uses the power to beat Taga, but goes into a rage at Taga because, as Katara explains, the power of the staff is corrupting him. Aang rages at Taga for... Mm-hmm.
Sorry, and then maybe this is like the point of like where you were saying with Sonam. It's like maybe she was corrupted too, and she just didn't even know. Using the staff just corrupts all. Okay, continue.
Aang rages at Taga for turning his dream of bringing back the air nomads into a nightmare. Taga tries to bait Aang into killing him and unlock his inner beast to establish the new Air Empire or something, but Aang sees the Air Nomad banner that was on Republic City earlier flying through the wind and remembers his childhoods and the teachings of his people. Remembering his roots, Aang decides to break the staff instead. This sends the temple ruins back to the spirit world and inexplicably removes everyone's airbending for some reason, raising major questions about how all this worked in the first place. Why does that happen?
Yeah. I don't know, Joe. Big missing piece.
It's weird to me because, so in Korra season 1, this is, I guess, a spoiler for it. I guess we've kind of been spoiling it the whole time, though.
Yeah.
We learn that, like, the way you can take people's bending away and, like, restore it and stuff like that is, like, through some, like, advanced blood bending technique thing, right? But, like, what that means functionally is that bending is something that's, like, core to your anatomy as a person, right? So, like, if you use a magic staff to give people bending, shouldn't you change their anatomical structure to that they can do it? But like, why would it go away when the staff goes away? It's not like they were powering you like a battery. Or was it? I don't know.
Maybe it's like spooky. It's the souls of past airbenders being put in you. And that's how you immediately know how to airbend, because it's like
that would
the
be
energy of a...
so much cooler. If they were all possessed by ghosts, by like vengeful air bending ghosts, that would rule. I don't think that's what's happening though.
Yeah.
It's clearly the midichlorians just, being sucked back up into the staff.
I guess. Aang tells Taga that he couldn't bring back the air nomads while betraying what they stood for, and that Taga and he should forgive themselves for the not being there for their people, as Taga fades into spirit energy because he also dies. The gang reunites and it's cute. That's my note. Republic City is rebuilt and we get a brief cameo of the Kyoshi warriors, so I guess this happens here. Aang tells Sonam that how the real power of the airbenders was their values as people, and Sonam agrees. We see that air temple island from Korra is being built, so that's happening. Aang goes to greet his new acolyte team, which are volunteers who will now go out and try to study and preserve airbending culture for the future. And Kalik is there, because she's one of them. They fly off to a place that Sonam told Aang about, and they find a field full of air bison. They're not extinct after all. They fly off into the sky as we cut to credits.
Yeah, we gotta have bison for Tenzin and his kiddos.
This does not need to be explained. I mean, it's fine. It's fine.
No,
it's fine that ends with this. It ends with an acolyte team, which is like, bro, did people not exist before this? I guess we're like acting like they didn't exist before this, and people just became interested in air nomads because Aang decided that they need to do that, which is fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
But like, this is not a tension. This is not like a big tension point. Like, was at any point in this movie were you thinking that Aang was going to do anything out of character to get the magic staff?
I feel like maybe a more interesting thing. So I feel like Aang, we know how it all turns out because Korra. So I feel like it would have been more interesting to have like an adventure with this group, but it's like focus on a different person on the team. I don't know, like that isn't as explored, and that like the thing to do with them doesn't have as huge of an impact on how the world works, and then we don't have to worry about it like making sense for Korra coming later. But because yeah, everything is just like, well, I know none of this can happen because I know it's gonna happen in Korra, so it's like
I feel like they're hemmed in by that.
I'd be
like, because like the staff needs to break. Why do we need to break the staff? Because it's giving Aang too much spirit power. Why is it giving Aang too much spirit power when Sonam was fine? I don't know. It's just kind of like we just know it needs to happen because we know he can't use the staff to bring back airbending.
Yeah. Freaking. Yeah. I'm
curious how you'd feel how this movie was if it came out before Legend of Korra. Because like I mentioned, I know it's gonna be all right because of even episode 1 of Legend of Korra, and it still has a lot of gaps and issues, and the more since we've talked about through it, and I saw it a second time, there is a lot of heavy lifting being done by beautiful visuals and sound effects and just the love for the old characters. But yeah, I'm curious how much of Legend of Korra, knowing some things, you've both have seen it fully through, and sounds like even more that kind of, I don't want to say get in the way, but kind of the story and the ability of what they can be able to tell in between these two timelines.
I guess as a movie, it's like, even without knowing what happens, like that the plot does a satisfactory job of answering it. My biggest thing is, it's pretty. I like that it's pretty. The plot can be okay, but like give me the good times with the gang. That's what I would like from this, and I feel like it didn't deliver. Also, it's like I think it's the same composer, but I feel like we didn't rely on music as much as like for memorable moments. Like I feel like in the series, no sick ass Agni Kai song playing, which I guess that's like a Fire Duel thing, but I'm like, I feel like we didn't have as much like awesome music moments either, which was like a strong part of the series too that I miss in this. I guess just
they did.
Yeah.
They had the Avatar State song. They had a couple of, but you're right. They weren't to the old level. I'm at least appreciative that they didn't, mutilate them and like do either something completely different or really make it strange, but they also didn't lean heavy into it. So it's like, okay, he's going to
rely on
Avatar
it
state.
to set the mood without actually doing any of the footwork. Yeah.
I have.
Yeah, I don't know. This movie is fine.
I have.
That's my stance.
I'm gonna go full hater on this for a moment.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with like my most bleak take on this. So a while ago, I read an article by Jake Steinberg called "We're All Becoming More Thick," and it's an article about Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which is a game I haven't played, and it's about comparing Xenoblade Chronicles 1, a game I haven't played, to Xenoblade Chronicles 2, a game I haven't played. And in it, basically, he lays out the argument that Xenoblade Chronicles 1 does writing. Like, it has characters, things happen, there are, like, contrasts, characters develop, that kind of thing. And because of that, you're able to, like, experience a story where you're feeling the connections between characters and you, like, understand what their arcs are, and that causes you to feel things throughout the game, and that's what makes it really good. And in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, what they mostly do is gesture at those same types of feelings without actually doing it, right? It's like things show up on screen where it's like, oh, you know, these two characters are supposed to be in love because they're kind of like looking at each other that way and kind of saying stuff, even though it doesn't match like what their characterizations are doing. It doesn't really match what they are as people. There's not really character development or character arcs going in. And kind of part of the point he makes in the article is that like there's kind of this transition away from stories telling the story and stories kind of like giving you the outline of a story and expecting you as the audience to fill in all the pieces, right? Because like in this thing, he outlines playing this on stream and all of the, you know, people in his stream talking about how good it is and how they're like filling out all the other stuff and how like you can reference different aspects of like the lore Bible and the wiki and all of that stuff to like construct the story for yourself in your mind. But it is not what the actual thing is doing. And that's what I feel about this movie. I feel like you can make sense of this movie if you don't pay that much attention to what happens in it. If you just look at what's being gestured throughout the whole thing, Calic having a change of heart, Katara getting mad at Aang for putting them in danger kind of during the section there, you can like understand what the movie is trying to get at without the movie doing any of those things. This really feels like a movie that kind of exists for you to fill out the like Avatar wiki page on more so than like, because like, where does Aang as a character end up from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie? And the only difference is that, well, now he's going expeditioning with some more people. But like, that's it. That's the change. And it's like, that wasn't really his problem. The problem wasn't that he wanted to do it alone. It just didn't occur to him to ask anybody to come along or to see if anybody else was interested in what he was interested in. It's very odd.
I agree. I think what they try to get at is the main beat of going this. I think two things, because you've got the denied that don't have bending skills, right? So it's this viewing of the world of benders versus non-benders. And even Aang is part of that problem. It kind of feels like, at least that's what they're trying to say. And that he views air nomads being gone as all about the bending, even though that's not the reality. And definitely, as far as the story, a huge, like, how realistic is that? Because to your point, like, what changes? He's just traveling with a different group, but the shift is really just, oh, okay, it's not about the bending that's lost. It's about the culture. And I don't need people who can bend to keep that culture alive. And so it's like, oh, you don't look at the world as a world about benders and non-benders, but rather culture. And I did like that thing again of the Republic City when he's talking with Taga on the airship of Taga's like, how can you trust? Again, you mentioned Zuko and the firelord and Aang being like, well, when everyone was stuck to their own, the whole world was nearly torn apart. I think it's just going to, again, I'm not saying it's like a good and it was like a realistic gap in Aang's development, especially at this point in life, to still be viewing the missing air nomads is all about their power and less about the culture. And then that's what he developed. But yeah, it is a weak beginning to end development for Aang. For sure. Yeah,
I just wish like if it's going to hit on those things, I mean, this is why I feel like it gestures to those things instead of hitting on those things. Then like, I would have liked to see something at the beginning where like Aang is prioritizing learning airbending techniques over like the
responsibilities,
the like artifacts, like, you know, like the pots and the statues and stuff like that aren't directly related to airbending, right? But he's just kind of, but that's not what happens. You know what I mean? Like, we're not really hitting those things. We kind of say it's about these things after the fact, but it doesn't feel like it's it doesn't feel like it's building up to be those things.
Yeah, it's so true. The fact that he's collecting artifacts feels like he should understand that preserving it's about the culture and not the bending. And so, yeah, it's very weak. You're absolutely, we are doing a lot of heavy lifting and filling out the wiki here.
It feels hard because this is like the main thing of the series finale, right? Like the main conflict in the series finale is if Aang is going to kill the Firelord or not. Is he going to go against like his whole like upbringing, the like teachings that he grew up with, who his identity is as a like an air nomad versus what basically every avatar, including other air nomad avatars, are telling him to do. And like, we see how that plays out. And what it plays out with is that he sticks to who he is and like all this other stuff. And it's like the big crowning achievement, I feel like, of the show. And to have another run at that's even more muddled and confusing just feels like such an odd choice to me.
Yeah. Well, this had the involvement of the original creators, right? So
yeah.
I guess, but also, gotta answer to Paramount. And
I mean, people like this. I think we should say that this was received fairly well. This is the thing they need to get out and make money on before they can have their show, which I'm hoping they'll do more interesting things in the show, which it looks like they are. It looks like they're really doing something different with it. So that's exciting.
Yes.
So maybe this is just the thing you put out.
I am excited for Seven Havens.
What is what is the focus for that? I don't even know.
Post-apocalyptic, like something went down, and so like everything Aang and them built up and that we see through Korra is kind of toast. It's, I think, from what I've gathered, I don't know if it's two avatars or that one of the avatars is just a twin, but like it's a fairly young protagonist, and she let's see. It was interesting. Younger, and then she has she's
the one after Korra, and the implication, which I think is so funny, is that Korra screwed up so bad that everybody hates the Avatar now, which I love that for her because I actually love Korra because she's such a nightmare person.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Yes.
So I'm hoping they really like lean into that.
But yeah, she has Pavi has like a prosthetic leg. So that's like a cool thing that they're doing, earthbending. Her mentor seems to be, I don't know if he's an airbender or just like some kind of airbending. But yeah, I mean, my sister is like, oh, I don't want to watch it because it's like, oh, all Aang's hard work is gone. And I'm like, no, post-apocalyptic sounds awesome. It's going to be like the sand bandits everywhere.
This movie also plays into my second pet peeve where like people get nostalgic about stuff and hold it in like reverence. And I think that is the death of whatever you're going to do. Like I just played KOTOR 2, and that's a game that does not hold Star Wars, the original, in reverence at all. And it's way better for it versus like everything that happened in the sequel series, everything that J.J. Abrams touched is a nightmare. It's just, it sucks. It's so bad because it thinks all this stuff is super important. I like that we get to Korra and we learn that like Aang was kind of a shitty dad. I think that's good.
Yeah.
I do like that's how you learn about it too, is through his children rather than you seeing that. Right. It's
well,
like, what's their take on it?
Yeah, I like that. Because it's like
a lot of shit going on.
You want these to, I don't know, at the end of the day, I want these characters to be like people and like to have relationships like people and to be treated like people and not like, the perfect little cinnamon
Legends
roll.
And,
too precious for this world. I just don't want that.
Yeah. October 9th, I think, is when it drops.
I'll watch it.
So hopeful. I'll watch it as well. I know. Well, I feel like this was originally supposed to come out in October, but I guess they switched it around and stuff. Yeah. Well, JP, I know you were more positive on this. I know you spoke on like some, when we were talking about it separately, some moments that like kind of, you felt resonated with you. What, do you, off the top of your head, know like kind of which ones were like, yeah, that was good?
It's funny you bring it up because yeah, I told you that after watching it the first time, and then I rewatched it last night, and I still enjoyed it last night. And I will say, sound terrible. After we've talked about it more, and if I probably go watch it the third time,
happens.
I'm probably not going to like it as much.
This is what
No.
happens hanging out with Joe.
I think even without, no. I think the second viewing, even prior to this, I didn't have those moments that I told you about. Those like slightly tear-jerking moments of like, oh, I'm so happy for Aang, right? Like, I think the first one I really liked was him and Katara, right? Like that was a big kind of emotional struggle for him, and you just kind of get the kiss at the end, and okay, great, and them being together, that just felt good again. And then, yeah, I think the other was when he's connecting with Taga on the airship, and a part of me really wanted to question Taga as, is there a darkness? But thankfully they didn't give too much into that, or I was just being blind to it. And so you could see his joy of I don't know. I just was just really happy because you see after the Last Airbender, he is the only airbender. And so for there to be okay, this seems plausible. Somebody was put in the similar frozen state as him and able to teach him. So like, yeah, that's fair. But I'm like, oh, I can at least buy into it, how this person was. So I think it was really those two moments. And there was a lot of just the first watch of being really happy to see these characters, especially my favorite parts of Avatar are the final seasons when they're all together and you got Zuko with the gang and Team Avatar. And I think, although it's like, again, holding on to something a bit too hard. And so I was happy to see it. But then when you start to look deeper, those moments didn't hit the second viewing. It's not that I didn't enjoy them. It wasn't, although I think you could say it about anything, like the not this new Tom Holland Spider-Man, but the No Way Home, spoiler alert, all the Spider-Man get together and you get these, I was like tear jerking in that moment of, oh my God, Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire was first ever real feeling of superhero movie, live action. I know there were more prior, but that was mine. And I liked Andrew Garfield and I liked, Tom Holland, and that really hit. But then the second time I watched it, it didn't hit at all. So, yeah, anyway, for what it's worth, I did have those moments, but it was only the first viewing.
And now after hanging out with us, and just dissect. This is what it's like on the main episodes. It's a lot of like, watching this casually was a lot more. I liked it more, but under like a closer eye, it's like, oh, now I'm embarrassed that I said this is like one of my favorite animes. And then Joe tears it apart. I'm like, what was I thinking?
Okay, all right. Okay. I'm not saying you can't enjoy it. This movie has some really good sequences. The airship sequence in particular is really good, right? Like there's parts of this that I think are really good. I just don't think it like gels together very well.
Yeah, we've said it before. The visuals I thought were really good. The fight sequences were too long. Yeah, it was a feast for the eyes and a nostalgia piece. The story was weak, and yeah, because you guys said Marvel fight long sequences. I think, again, because it was the different art style, I was ignorant to their length.
I'm just looking again. I just want to, because Christopher Yoss, the screenwriter, wrote a bunch of Marvel movies. Thor: The Dark World, Thor: Ragnarok. I mean, some ones that people like, but
I did like Ragnarok. I didn't like the one after that, the Love and Thunder. It felt like everyone tried to jump onto I don't know what kind of comedy that. I think it was mainly because you're used to Thor not being comedic, and then Ragnarok came in and it was very comedic. But then after that, it was like, okay, you can't keep doing this. It's not hitting the same.
Okay, well, I guess that this is a long episode. Yay, work for me in editing all our audio together.
I don't have to edit.
You're welcome.
Yes. Woot woot. I guess any final thoughts before we wrap here? Some of us gym rats gotta get to the gym before they close.
Yeah.
I just gotta pee really bad. I don't know how y'all do this.
You guys gotta
pee for like an hour.
You gotta lift Sarah so
We're falling apart here.
You can be a powerful non-bender too.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Then if nothing else, basically fun to watch. I'd be interested to see. I only watched it once, so I don't feel compelled to watch it again anytime soon. I guess maybe if they did a theatrical release, would you guys go see it in theaters?
No.
Probably not. No.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'm cheap.
Listen, I would rank this. This is still better than all of the live action stuff, which is, as far as I can tell, I didn't watch season 2, but I watched a Big Joel video on it. Seems bad. Season 1 was real bad. So League's better than this. Like night and day.
Just
I would watch
more animated stuff.
I would watch this movie 100 times before watching one time through the second season of live action Avatar.
Yes.
Until one of my friends forces me to watch it. Who knows? Yeah.
That's right.
So.
Yeah, just animation rules. K-pop Demon Hunters showing animation still got it.
Yep.
So let's keep that train going. More for us to cover. Well, thank you, JP, for joining us for this bonus episode.
Thank y'all for having me. I feel very honored. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, big deal. That's right. We have so many options for guests, and you made
come
the
back
cut.
when you get into shoujo anime, you know?
That's right. When we cover
Sounds
Fruits
good.
Basket at some point, we can talk, and then me can be like, oh my god, I cried so much, and Joe's gonna be like, yeah. I'll be like, oh yeah. Okay, all right, people, that's a wrap. This is a little long episode. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed our coverage of this, or you have thoughts or agree or disagree, we'd love to hear what you have to say in comments, reviews, DMs to our Instagram, wherever you reach out. We're happy to hear from you. And we hope you enjoyed listening, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.